Welcome! This is going to be part 2 of the cognitive functions, extroverted versus introverted. So a long time ago we talked about the 4 functions, sensing, intuition, thinking, and feeling. And we talked about everybody can do everything, so everybody has those tools in their tool belt, but 2 of them are going to be a major focus and 2 of them are a minor focus. This is now the theory into how all 8 of the cognitive functions are combined with each other. And if you're not sure what this nomenclature is referring to, I would point you to another video that explains what each one of those symbols means. And I did my darndest. Of course, I probably could keep looking forever and ever, but I could not find why this theory exists. Like, where does it come from? I'm pretty sure it comes from at least somewhere Carl Jung down the line has adopted this. Did it come from someone before him? I don't know. Why did he come up with this? I don't know. I tried to find it. I could not find anything. Nobody had why it was this particular way. If you happen to know that, please put it down below in the comments so that everybody can learn from each other. The theory is that an introverted function is paired with an extroverted function to form an axis. And so we have 2 axes. I'm a math teacher and I can't even remember. We have 2 axes, and one of them is called the decider axis and the other one is called the observer axis. And so what I have here is just a way to organize it just so we can kind of see how they come to be. And they kind of look like Punnett squares, where, you know, in science, when you figured out the alleles and who was going to be born with blue eyes and who was going to have brown eyes, and most of the world has brown. So as far as the decider axis, we have either an extroverted or an introverted possibility, a thinking or a feeling possibility. And so because of those 4 dynamics, we end up with 4 possibilities. And like I said, the theory is the pair is the extroverted or introverted opposite. One of them is the major focus, and that is denoted by the large circle, and the other one is the minor focus, denoted by the small circle. The observer axis, same thing. Extroverted versus introverted, sensing versus intuition, and those are the 4 possibilities that could happen. So what that means is you are going to have one of the options in the decider Punnett square, and one of the options in the observer Punnett square. And together that's going to form your personality type, at least part of it. We'll talk about all the other parts later. Let's take a look at one for an example here. Extroverted feeling is paired with introverted thinking. And for this particular person, extroverted feeling is the major focus. More time is spent on going to the outside world, going to others, and understanding the values and the priorities of the outside world, versus a minor focus on taking time to spend thinking through their own logic, their own reasons, their own rationale. Now, I started by saying everyone does everything, but what ends up happening is, based on the theory, you end up with, out of all these different possibilities, 2 out of these 8 possibilities when it comes to what you are putting a major focus on and what you're putting a minor focus on. We are complex people. Humans are complex and yet simple at the same time. But anyway, we're complex in the sense that we do everything. You might see yourself fitting into some of these categories at one point or another, but if we were to tally mark and we put it into one of these 8 categories, then you would note that only 2 of them are happening over all the rest. And then, because of the theory, whatever is happening, if you have one happening more, then the connection to it is the extroverted or introverted opposite. So now you have 2 things put together. You have the observer axis and decider axis. We put them together in what we call a stack, and we'll talk about how to organize that in a later video. Now OP has the idea of, because we're complex, because we can do everything, what ends up happening is you'll use the functions together to simulate ones that are not in your stack. And so the idea of simulation may occur when you take your function that you normally use and you expand it out, or maybe you narrow it in and you can simulate it that way. Or maybe you're using a combination of both of your functions in order to simulate one that you do not have in your stack. So that is all that we have for today. A little bit of theory when it comes to how to pair the functions together. We have 8 functions. Now we have 8 pairs depending on what is your major focus and minor focus. And I hope that you join me next time when we look at something different. And with that, I will say goodbye. The reason why I didn't say this part last time is because we have what's going on, a theory. That was so awkward. Let's try that again. Did you like that? I thought that was pretty clever. Pretty proud of myself there.